And a good day, everyone. Time now for weather news with J7409. The name you know, the news you can use. Got a couple of things I wanted to go over before I get into all of the stuff for the lower 48 today. It seems that this morning, one of the greatest interests to the National Weather Service and myself as I'm watching this, you're going to flip out, people. it's the it's the possibility of a late season nor'easter, okay? Southeast of New England. Now, I know you guys, as well as other places up in here, you've had so much rain, as well as all the way down to Florida. But this is what it's looking like, okay? Now, this chance is through early Tuesday. Now, the models are showing that this is to be closer to the coastline, and it's going to be a very slow mover to depart the region. Now, the European model, the GFS, the UK Met, and the Canadian models are all showing this, and they're showing it closer to the coast. Lots of rain, and the possibility of a late nor'easter. So we've got this now on Monday. Monday morning early. We're going to click her on through. Here's this system. Doesn't look like too much right now, just a rainmaker. As we move along, we can see all the heavy rain bands for you guys up here. I'm sorry you're getting it. But then these bands start to tighten up just a tad. Okay, this is like Tuesday at midnight or Monday at midnight, early Tuesday morning. Tuesday's when it should be mostly the hardest rains. As you can see, they're moving on across now. And we'll go to Tuesday's run. See how it pushes off to the low. The low is pushing off to the coast, rather. And then it goes off the coast of Maine. I really don't think it's going to be a nor'easter. There is that possibility, okay? I don't think it will, but I think you guys are going to get so much rain. It's it's just very bad. And I'm sorry you guys are probably going to get this rain, but this is what it's looking like. So Monday through Tuesday, and then here we go to Wednesday's midnight run. It should be off the coast of Maine, moving on out. Okay, now remember a couple of nights ago I showed you guys a system that was looking like it may come up through here, okay? It's just a system, okay? I didn't say it was going to turn anything. I'm not saying it's going to turn into anything significant storm now, because it's a little bit too far out, but it's around the same time period as I found on the other map, okay? Here we are, June 2nd. And by the way, everybody knows that today is the first day of hurricane season. If and when we have another named storm, it will be named Beryl. So let's click this up and see what happens with it. And here it comes. Doesn't look like a whole lot. Look at there. It looks like it's fizzled out. But one thing for sure, Florida looks kind of like Alberta. You're going to get slammed with rain your whole entire state with this system. So we keep moving it along. And now we're up to the 15th, which is Friday, June 15th. Looks a little better organized, getting a little more organized. And it looks like it may go over Florida. And the barometric pressure in it right at this particular time is 995 millibars. But the isobars still don't look like no big, bad, scary storm. But we're going to have to wait and see if it turns into a tropical storm or not. It's too early to tell. Way too early. I'm not saying Florida's going to get a tropical storm coming up in a couple of weeks. I am saying Florida's going to get a whole lot of rain coming up in a couple of weeks, as well as everybody from the mid-Atlantic all the way down, okay? But I just wanted to show you that when I saw the system and I did a little bit of work on it with my models, it did look like it was going to intensify just a tad. Still too far out to tell, so do not worry, do not fret. But there it is right there. We need to keep our eyes on it, and don't worry, I will. And of course, this map is courtesy of Tropical Tidbits that I'm using, and it is the latest run of the GFS model. If it's your first time here, please click subscribe, click the bell, get all the latest in weather news, forecasts, and alerts, watches, and warnings as they come out. Thank you so much for doing that. And if you have any weather pictures, please share them with us. We'd love to see them. Click show more, scroll down, you'll find an email address to send them to. So, what do we need to do? We need to turn this on and get going. It seems that we've got a rather robust upper level trough, everybody. It's sweeping through the northern Intermountain West today, and it's going to be supporting active convection across the northern Intermountain West Rockies into the Great Plains. Now, the attendant cold front ahead of this trough moving into the northern Central Plains will be a key focus for several weather and severe weather features by this afternoon and evening across this region. And you do have a slight chance of severe thunderstorms to develop that will have hail and damaging wind, especially across eastern Nebraska and central North Dakota. But also, a few tornadoes cannot be ruled out. So keep that in mind in that area. Now, plenty of moisture pooling along the boundary is going to also lead to flash flood risk as well. So please keep this in mind. The severe weather and flash flood threat will move eastward with the front into the middle Mississippi Valley by Saturday, tomorrow. Now, an incredibly moist atmosphere remains locked in place for the next few days across much of the eastern United States. And it's underneath a persistent upper level troughing. Multiple impulses moving through the flow aloft will support daily afternoon thunderstorms, which will keep flash flooding the concern through the entire weekend for the mid-Atlantic section, where an additional organized heavy rain event will be possible. And you need to keep this in mind because there is this great opportunity and chance, not that it will happen, but it could happen, for portions of the central Appalachians and the mid-Atlantic to have a slight risk for flash flooding because more rainfall will happen. Now, we've got warm and dry conditions across the southern Rockies and high plains on the backside of a dry line. It will lead to an elevated critical fire weather threat for today. So please keep that in mind also. As for temperatures, across the country, locations from the southern plains to the Ohio Valley and the eastern states will be quite warm and muggy. Boy, it is at my house, with well above normal temperatures for both today and tomorrow. And the big story with this warmth, however, will be the very warm overnight temperatures with widespread lows in the 70s expected. And that's going to break a whole lot of records. So people, keep all of this stuff in mind. If I see any storms break out later this evening, I'll make sure and put the watches and warnings out. Once again, you can see all of these systems as they're moving now. There we go this week. Monday and Tuesday with this storm coming across New England, dumping tons of rain for everybody. Then it finally gets on the coast and rides on up. And as the days click on by, we see later in the month this system we spied out the other night coming up. As it is right now, it just looks like a low pressure. And hopefully that's what it will stay no matter what. Florida's going to get tons and tons of rain out of this in a couple of weeks. It could turn into something. It might not turn into something. I just want you to be aware of it. So with all of that said and done, everyone have a most pleasant good day. Thank you so much for watching. Everything you do for me, I appreciate it. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for watching and sharing the comments, everything else. And by the way, before I get out of here this morning, Ralph wrote me a note last night and he saw the map where Maine had all this color on it. What's going on up in Maine with that? It's not there this morning, but what it is Maine is experiencing very warm temperatures, and it seems to be, it was a cold water alert. Seems to be a lot of people are going out. It's like 80 degrees in a whole lot of places in Maine. They're going in the water and they're dying or almost dying. What's happening is they're very hot. The water still around Maine is around 50 degrees. They're getting in the water, going into shock, and boom, there you have it. So that's what that was, Ralph. It's not there this morning. It may be back up this afternoon. And if you live on the coastal area of North Carolina, where I am right in here, it's going to be so hot for all of us, we could have 90 to 100 degree readings by this afternoon. Stay safe. I love you guys. Thanks again. Peace, love, and kindness to all.